This is my Share What You Know project. Mine was coping strategies, and I decided to focus in on depression and anxiety. Just a little overview of depression and anxiety. Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. Depression is usually medicated with antidepressants, but it's not good to be on them for a long time. Someone who's struggling with depression has to be able to deal with their symptoms in a different way. A coping strategy can be a healthy alternative to finding peace. A coping strategy is the reaction and behaviors one adopts to deal with difficult situations. There can be positive and negative, and they can be helpful or hurtful. Humans learn from these when they come in contact with someone growing up. And when a person develops habits of negative coping skills, stressors become catastrophes, and confidence in one's ability to cope is diminished. So when we're growing up and we learn something negative and we cope that way, it sticks with us for a long time and we're not able to come out of that. A positive coping strategy can be social, interpersonal, cognitive, or it can be tension. Social interpersonal is a scientific study that has proven the benefits of social supports to counteract the effects of stress on DNA, which is like when you talk to someone, when you set boundaries for yourself, like saying no, being assertive, using humor, or when you serve someone in need, because I think we all feel better when we serve someone. Cognitive is using the mind and thought to influence the way someone behaves. So if we brainstorm solutions, lower our expectations, being flexible, or writing our lists of strengths. There can also be some tension when we're coping with something, and that's involving acting on strong emotions in ways that are safe for oneself and others, which can be like exercise, or crying, or laughing, or maybe punching a punching bag, or screaming into a pillow, that kind of thing. There's also negative coping skills. There's something called a diversion, which is can be like procrastination, abusing drugs and alcohol, wasting time on unimportant tasks, which I think is really common for us as college students. Interpersonal, just like positive coping skills, it can be blaming, isolating, lying to others, and gossiping, which is like something that really happens like when you're in adolescence. Cognitive, there can be overgeneralizing, denying, black and white thinking, thinking that things can only go a certain way, or stubbornness. Tension releasers, just like positive ones, but these are pretty bad. Tantrums, throwing things, hitting people, yelling at others, and destroying property. Hopefully we grow out of those as we get older, but if that's the way you were taught to cope with something, that's usually how you stick to it. A physical coping skill that's negative is suicide or self-harm and developing illnesses, because we can literally make ourselves sick by being worried or having anxiety. Intrapersonal can be making fun of yourself or blaming yourself for things, and indulging be gambling, overeating, or continually crying. And that's all I have.